The night she almost missed the last elevator was the night everything quietly began to change. The boardroom lights were already dimming when the female CEO with one leg stood alone by the window, watching the city glow without her. Her reflection in the glass showed a woman the world admired, sharp suit, calm eyes, a posture trained never to reveal pain, but it also showed the truth she never shared. Success had filled every space in her life except the one that mattered most. If she had known that one ordinary decision, one delayed elevator, would place a single dad directly in her path and slowly unravel the walls she'd built for years, she might have held her breath a little longer. She was known as Mira Hale to the public, a name spoken with respect in business channels and whispered with awe in startup circles. Losing her leg in a car accident years earlier had hardened her resolve. She refused pity, refused shortcuts, refused to let the world define her by what was missing. She worked longer hours than anyone else in the building, arrived before sunrise, left long after dark. People admired her strength, but they also kept their distance. Mira was efficient, controlled, and untouchable. Alone felt safer than being misunderstood. That evening, as the elevator door slid open again, a man stepped in carrying a paper bag and holding the hand of a small boy. The child was sleepy, his head resting against his father's side. The man apologized softly for the delay, his voice tired but kind. Mira barely nodded at first, but the boy looked up at her leg brace with curious eyes, not fear or discomfort, just honest interest. His father gently redirected him, whispering something about manners. Mira surprised herself by smiling. It had been a long time since anyone had looked at her without judgment. The man's name was Daniel. He was a single dad, juggling 2 jobs after losing his wife to illness, trying to be everything for his son without letting the cracks show. He delivered maintenance reports for the building at night to afford better schooling for his child. Life had taught him patience and humility, but also quiet strength. When the elevator reached the lobby, Mira expected that to be the end of it. Instead, fate had other plans. Over the following weeks, their paths crossed in small, almost forgettable ways: morning greetings near the coffee machine, a shared elevator ride, a brief conversation about the weather. Daniel never stared, never tiptoed around her disability. He spoke to her like she was simply another human being navigating a hard world. Mira found herself listening more than she spoke, something she rarely did. There was comfort in his ordinary kindness. One late evening, a power outage trapped several employees in the building. Mira, calm as always, coordinated evacuations from her phone while Daniel helped guide people down the stairs, his son sleeping in a makeshift bed near the security desk. When everything settled, Mira noticed Daniel sitting on the floor beside his child, exhausted but smiling. Something inside her shifted. She realized she admired him not for grand achievements, but for showing up every day, even when it hurt. Still, she kept her distance. Her past had taught her that closeness invited loss. The world had taken enough from her already. But loneliness has a way of growing louder when ignored. On her birthday, which she never celebrated, Mira stayed late again, signing contracts while the city celebrated without her. As she prepared to leave, she found a small paper bag on her desk. Inside was a cupcake and a handwritten note: "Everyone deserves to be remembered." There was no name, but she knew. That night, she sat in her car and cried, not from sadness alone, but from the realization that someone had seen her when she wasn't trying to be impressive. The real test came months later, when a major deal fell apart and the board began questioning her leadership. Whispers grew louder, not about her skills, but about her ability to handle pressure long-term. The same old doubts, disguised as concern. Mira pushed herself harder, ignoring pain, skipping rest. Daniel noticed. One evening, he gently asked if she was okay. She almost brushed him off, but something in his eyes made her pause. For the first time, she admitted she was tired, not physically, but emotionally. Daniel didn't offer solutions. He simply listened. He talked about his own fears, about raising a child alone, about nights when he felt invisible. In that shared honesty, a bridge formed. Mira realized that strength didn't mean standing alone, it meant allowing someone to stand beside you. As their bond deepened, challenges followed. Rumors spread at work. People questioned her judgment, suggesting she was becoming too personal. Mira faced a choice she'd avoided her entire life: protect her image or protect what felt real. When the board confronted her, she stood firm. She reminded them that leadership wasn't about isolation, but understanding people. If they couldn't see that, then perhaps they had forgotten why they trusted her in the first place. The tension reached its peak the night Daniel's son fell seriously ill. Daniel missed work, overwhelmed with fear. Mira showed up at the hospital quietly, sitting beside him through the long hours. No cameras, no applause. Just presence. When the child finally smiled again, Mira felt a peace she had never known. In the end, the board backed down. Myra's results spoke louder than their doubts. Daniel found a better job within the company, one that respected his time as a father. They didn't rush anything, didn't promise forever in dramatic words. What they built was slower, steadier, real. The inspiring truth was simple: Mira didn't stop being strong when Daniel entered her life, she redefined strength. And Daniel didn't come to rescue her, he walked with her. Two people, both broken in different ways, choosing connection over solitude. The story that began with a missed elevator ended with something far more meaningful, the understanding that being whole isn't about what you have or lack, but about who you allow into your life. And sometimes, the person who changes everything arrives quietly, carrying nothing but kindness, patience, and the courage to stay.